Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Li Wei Tai. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in the show, we meet Lifeline volunteers in Taiwan who can make a difference between life or death every time they answer the phone. In the continuation of an in-depth report on avian flu in Taiwan, we investigate the government's relaxed control over the butchering of possibly infected chickens in traditional markets. And we take you up utility poles today as we explore the toilsome and dangerous job of insulated cleaning in our featured series on Taiwan's interesting career choices. In the Philippines, a fire in Navotas of Manila Bay displaced 100 families. City volunteers quickly arrived in the poor neighborhood with supplies for the victims.
After a fire torched all the houses along the shore in Navotas of Manila Bay, City volunteers promptly arrived with supplies, while 5 victims have already marked the boundary of their former home and are ready to rebuild. The electrical fire incinerated 50 homes and displaced 100 families. Victims are currently taking shelter in a local school. Desks become makeshift beds, and 2 to 3 families share a classroom. The volunteers' arrival quickly got the victims' attention. Learning that Tzu originated from Taiwan and that the supplies are a gift of love, people pray together, while some even make contributions to Tzu's bamboo bands. The relief materials also give the victims the strength to carry on.
The supplies are a great help to me. They are enough to sustain us until we finish rebuilding, so we don't have to worry.
Some people also showed up with PET bottles in hand to give to the volunteers.
I have heard that Tzu recycles PET bottles, so we went to collect them for Tzu.
Each family received a 20-kilogram bag of rice, daily necessities, and second-hand clothes. Though recovery will not be easy, the victims know they have the support of great love.
Tzu's support and love were also extended to Myanmar, helping rebuild Mayagong No. 1 High School that was severely damaged by Cyclone Nargis in 2008. As the school entered its second phase of reconstruction, volunteers and students went to the construction site to show their appreciation towards the builders.
Despite the heat, the construction work at Mayagong No. 1 High School in Myanmar continues. After Cyclone Nargis devastated Myanmar in 2008, Tzu helped rebuild the school. The classrooms were completed in 2010, and construction work is into its second phase.
When I was working here, I heard students studying and the sound of their laughter from the other sides of the building. Seeing them happy makes me really happy too.
Tzu volunteers thoughtfully prepared afternoon tea for the construction staff. Students who are on their summer break are also here to show their appreciation.
The school we have now is built with love from Master Zhen Yan and the construction workers. On behalf of all the students in the school, we thank you.
Students all know they must be grateful and study hard, for this comfortable and safe environment is down to the blood and sweat of many people.
Recently, suicide cases have been making frequent headlines in Taiwan's media, indicating the need to raise awareness about the issue. According to Taiwan's National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, in the 23 years of its operation, the agency has, on average, received more than 9,000 calls per year. In our next report, we meet Lifeline volunteers who play a definitive role in the life or death of desperate callers and learn what qualities they must have to bring hope to what could be a fatal situation. In Taiwan, 1995 is a number to dial for those contemplating suicide. Lifeline volunteers on the other end of the phone may be their last hope.
He told me he had taken a lot of pills, so I said he might have to get his stomach pumped and checked, which is not very comfortable. What I said did make him hesitate, and it is that moment of doubt that will help him reconsider his actions.
But tragedies are inevitable. When the desperate caller goes ahead with his or her plan of self-destruction, the volunteer on duty will hit a siren, a signal for others in the office to notify the police.
When the caller is in the process of taking his or her life or preparing for it, because we don't have the means to send people out to stop it from happening, we call up the police or emergency medical services.
Lifeline volunteers are at their busiest during the New Year period and major holidays, when they'll get twice the number of phone calls as usual. The best approach is a warm and familiar one.
I say things like, I'm going to stay with you now, and if you need to eat, please do so, and we can talk at the same time. What makes you happy? And when was the last time you laughed? And what made you laugh?
Unfortunately, there has also been a case where a Lifeline volunteer trainee took his own life. In light of that tragedy, Taiwan's Lifeline set up a strict 8-month training program for its would-be volunteers, covering the areas of legal issues and theories surrounding suicide, complete with counseling and self-awareness courses. Volunteers also need to rid themselves of all negative emotions before they report for duty.
If, say, you scolded your child or had an argument with your wife before coming to Lifeline, and before you could readjust yourself, you got a call from a young person telling you how his mother reprimanded him for no reason, you will probably slip and say that he sure deserved it.
Help is just a phone call away. If you think life treats you unfairly, let Lifeline help you see the lighter side of things. Mental illness such as depression can also lead to suicide. A resident of Taipei, Taiwan, Zhong Jiafeng has lived with depression for 21 years. When her symptoms first occurred, Jiafeng contemplated suicide, but fortunately her friends were there for her. We now hear about Jiafeng's battle with depression.
I couldn't bear to see what seems like a normal, healthy and beautiful woman to be tormented by depression like this.
Seeing her best friend Zhong Jiafeng suddenly shutting the world out and refusing contact with anyone, Qiu Lizhen decided to do something about it.
We took her on outings all the time to help her discover nature's beauty and meet different people, so that she wouldn't always be listening to the negative voice inside of her. I shared my life with her and helped her think positively.
When she was 30-something, Zhong Jiafeng's depression began to take shape. She shut the world out and had trouble sleeping. Anxiety and sadness troubled her constantly.
One of her symptoms is she likes to go into hiding. Other times, she would either cry constantly or become a chatterbox because she didn't know how to cope with her emotions. So she just went on and on. People would find her strange.
I didn't know what to do. I stayed at home all day, drifting around like a lost soul. I couldn't sleep and was just very sad. TV wasn't interesting to me either. My husband thought I was making a big deal out of nothing. I had only my children to care for. What could be stressing me out?
At the time, Jiafeng's family discredited her condition. Alone and helpless, she contemplated suicide. Thankfully, Jiafeng's friends were always there to support her.
We would stop at tourist attractions on the way. One time she rode on a zebra that was made of cement. She had such a good time and smiled so happily. We told her she can always be this carefree and innocent.
Most importantly, you have to find someone who will listen to you out and won't share your secrets with other people. That's very important. Such a person is like an incinerator burning away all of your worries.
With an outlet to vent her emotions, Jiafeng says it is important to seek professional help as well.
In terms of taking medication, you have to follow your doctor's orders. If you feel differently, you have to talk to your doctor and not modify your medication on your own, for the symptoms always resurface. Don't play the role of doctor.
Living with depression for 21 years, Jiafeng says it is thanks to the support of her best friends and the loyalty of her family that she has withstood the storm of her life.
After the H5N1 bird flu scare of 2006, Taiwan announced a complete ban on the slaughter of live birds in traditional markets. However, the government later allowed exceptions to the rules. As we find out in today's feature on avian influenza in Taiwan, this is only one of the loopholes in the law. We went to a wholesale chicken market in Taipei to investigate.
In the early hours of the morning, the lights are shining brightly at this poultry wholesale market in Taipei. Up to 50,000 chickens a day regularly arrive from central and southern Taiwan. Bannan Market has 14 slaughter lines and 400 people working on the market stalls. These days, there are also veterinarians checking the health of the birds, something that only started 3 years ago.
The chickens that come here every day are first checked by a vet before they are slaughtered. That's called a pre-slaughter test. Finally, at the wholesale outlet, there's another quality control. It's not that we don't want to do checks, it's just that they are not that useful.
The market workers complain that the required checks are a waste of time and effort. Every day, 6 truckloads of chickens are taken to a laboratory in Taipei to be tested, but the results are not immediately available, and even if the birds were infected, they would have already passed on the virus. Although an order on the notice board tells everyone to use gloves and masks, few people wear even basic protective gear.
The laborers don't like to wear a face mask because when they sweat, it gets wet and it's hard to breathe.
They ask us to wear masks and gloves, and if they do a spot check and we're not wearing gloves and a mask, they give us a penalty. A mask is okay, but I can't get used to wearing gloves.
At this traditional market, there are no vets making checks. Even worse, freshly slaughtered poultry can be seen on the cages of live birds.
When a slaughtered chicken is put beside a live chicken, if the live chicken's droppings or urine somehow infects the slaughtered bird, or if the chicken coughs, its spit or feathers may take some germs onto the chicken meat.
After the bird flu outbreak of 2006, Taiwan placed strict controls on poultry slaughter and trade at traditional markets to reduce the risk of infection. But 2 years later, the government made an abrupt U-turn.
Because poultry sellers are small and Taiwanese people like to eat freshly prepared meat, exemptions were made, especially for family-owned chicken sellers and chicken stalls in traditional market, which were exempt from the rules. There are vets who do checks in the abattoir area. It's up to the conscience of the stall owners to follow the rules. Customers can ask the poultry stall owners to see an approved slaughter certificate.
没有主动的来跟老板要一下屠宰的合格标章。
没有想到这个。
那知道消费者有这个权益吗？
不知道哎。
所以老板，你现在有没有这个房检局的屠宰合格标章？
目前没有，以后就会。
我们客人从没有问过这个问题，所以我们就没有做特意说要去拿那个东西给客人看。
With consumers unaware of their rights and traders unable to show their credentials, there are gaping holes in the bird flu safety net.
Why can't traditional market traders produce slaughter certification? Because have you ever seen a vet standing beside a market stall checking the meat for you? The British government did a study that showed it spends £2.3 trillion on medical treatment for people who ate unhealthy meat to pay for their health care.
Who is responsible for food safety in Taiwan? Should the government be more assertive, or should consumers be more aware of their rights? With no one taking the lead, bird flu prevention will remain an empty paper promise.
Moving on, Liu Baoxuan is the head of the Tzu Chi Batam Liaison Office in Indonesia. Divorced with 4 children in 2002, Liu adopted a girl with severe prenatal conditions. The cost of an operation for the girl needed was too high for Liu, but thankfully Tzu Chi stepped in. In gratitude, Liu became a major proponent of Tzu Chi in Batam.
I used to love wearing short skirts and revealing tops.
When she was young, Liu Baoxuan was like most girls who love to dress up. However, following her divorce, she gave up her party lifestyle and instead put her energies into providing a good life for her children.
My mom is my hero. Being a single mom, she acted as both mother and father while raising us 4 children. We never had to worry about getting enough to eat or having clothes on our backs. She worked hard to ensure that we are taken care of.
In addition to her 4 children, in 2002, Liu Baoxuan also adopted Grace, who had been abandoned by her parents. Grace was born with heart problems and a hernia, and Liu searched everywhere for medical assistance, but no one was willing to help until Tzu Chi stepped in.
My sense of gratitude has been transformed into action. Because this organization is so good, of course I wanted to join. Dealing with my youngest has taught me how to go out and do good deeds.
Now, whenever Tzu Chi hosts an event, Liu Baoxuan is sure to be there. As Tzu Chi's Batam Liaison Director, Liu is ensuring that her love can reach even more people in need.
In our feature report on Taiwan's traditional careers, we meet the staff at the Thai Power Company who carry out the dangerous work of insulator cleaning so that we have electricity available at a switch.
Late at night, 5 people in 2 vehicles make their way to the city's darkest corners.
Basically, it is alright. This is a kind of electrical leakage, because this insulator is dirty on the outside, and it is also wet, so that is why it leaks.
The insulator referred to here is the non-conductor that not only secures the transmitting wires to the tower, but also blocks electricity flow and prevents leakage. Thus, whether the insulator is in good condition is an important matter.
Can you see the second one there? The second one on the top. The one on the very top and shining. It is releasing electricity. It is dark now, so there's no light pollution. Next important thing is the level of humidity. Coming to observe it at this point of time, when it is most humid, as long as there's dirt, the spark will be more obvious.
Inside the industrial park, an unpleasant odor and the cracking sound of the electricity flow are distinct. Insulators are severely damaged by the salt fog that goes on for more than 6 months a year. Despite the tough working conditions, Thai Power staff do their best to ensure the safe transfer of electricity throughout Taiwan.
再来，再最后一点，再开旁边一点，再最后来，可以吗？中式热源，中式热源。小心一点哈，田埂很湿滑哈，走路小心一点。
Setting our walkie-talkies at channel 433.38, we are now testing.
来，握手把它绑来。好，要送水了。好，收到。
We are on the ground now. If we were in the mountains, it would be more tiring.
So far, we are the only company to take on this contract from Taiwan Power. We currently have 12 pilots. So around Taiwan, there are only 12 pilots that are able to do this insulator cleaning job. At the end of last year and the beginning of this year, northern Taiwan experienced heavy rainfall. Sometimes it rained the whole week, and we couldn't do our job. So the greatest influence on our progress when cleaning the non-conductors is the weather.
使用安全带辅助绳好，使用安全带辅助绳好，与活线保持2米以上安全距离好，与活线保持2米以上安全距离好，好。
Throughout the cleaning process, energy continues to flow, and therefore the team leader repeats instructions to help remind everyone to be mindful.
The wind speed is only 0.2 today. It is nearly a no-wind condition. According to the regulations, we cannot carry out the pole climbing work if the wind speed reaches 10 meters per second. The wind is really good today, so we can do our job. 0.97 is equivalent to more than 9,700 ohm. If the water reaches 5,000 ohm, we can carry out electric wire work. I've been working here since I graduated from junior high school and have been in the industry for more than 30 years now. We have college graduates coming in now. They're better educated.
检查安全带，检查辅助绳，辅助绳好。
On my first mission, I was really nervous. When I'm nervous, I tend to put in more body strength. When I make it to the top, I wasn't able to let go of my hands and do anything else. The next day, my body ached all over.
就全身酸痛。好，那我准备要发动引擎，准备上水了。好，引擎发动。
Once in a while, when we come across bad weather, to be honest, we had to pull ourselves together to make it through.
It was typhoon weather and there was an electricity shortage in Zhongli Industrial Park. So I worked all morning till the next day. We didn't really have time to sleep. And even if we did, it was in the car. I was cold and wet.
There were black spots on my butt. When I got home and had a look, it was all burnt. My butt was burnt. I was electrified.
I would recommend people my age to come and give this job a try. They might not like the part where there's a fair amount of labor, but you get to challenge yourself.
Regardless of their age, the Thai Power team made of young and old are devoting their lives day and night to ensure the people of Taiwan have access to electricity. Their hardworking effort and determination is truly admirable.
At the end of the show, we go to Hanwang Town in China's Sichuan province to celebrate the opening of a new Tzu recycling station. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.